In 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived on an island he called La Hispaniola, known today as the Dominican Republic. He encountered two distinct groups of indigenous people, the Taino and the Caribs. Although their cultures shared similarities, evidence suggests these groups were enemies, with the Caribs frequently launching raids against the larger Taino population. Despite their historical significance, there is a lot we don't know about these cultures. Keep watching to learn about 5 interesting mysteries of the Taino and the Caribs. Number 1. The Caribs were exceptional seafarers. The Caribs were excellent navigators and seafarers and later lent their name to the Caribbean Sea. Because they traveled between the islands of the Caribbean, sea travel was an essential part of their lifestyle. They were known for the piraguas, large, swift dugout canoes capable of carrying multiple people and significant cargo over long distances. They were renowned for their ability to travel between the islands swiftly and efficiently, often navigating hundreds of miles across open water. Historical accounts suggest that they deeply understood the sea. However, unlike the Polynesians, who left behind detailed oral traditions and star maps, the Caribs and Taino did not have a written language to record their maritime knowledge. This lack of records has led to speculation about how they gained their seafaring skills. Some historians believe that the Caribs used a combination of environmental cues, such as the position of stars, the direction of waves, the behavior of birds, and the color of water to navigate. These methods, though plausible, are not well documented, and the specifics of how they were taught and passed down through generations remains a mystery. Did they have a sophisticated celestial navigation system similar to other ancient seafaring cultures, or did they rely more on their intuition and experience? The answer is lost to time. However, we do know why the Caribs traveled. Their seafaring skill was for more than just fishing and trading. It also had a more aggressive purpose. Although the Caribs were exceptional fishermen, they were primarily known for raiding neighboring communities, particularly the Taino. These raids gave them a reputation as a warlike group, which is one of the reasons historians recognize them as distinct from other indigenous groups who speak the same language, such as the Taino. According to several historians, the Taino bore the brunt of the Caribs' raids, creating a feud between the two groups. Although the Carib people are more widely known for their seafaring skills, the Taino also have a history with the sea. Like the Caribs, they used handcrafted canoes to travel throughout the Caribbean. However, they gradually became land travelers and are now known more for their agricultural experience than their seafaring prowess. Number 2. The Taino played a ball game called bate. In addition to their agricultural expertise, the Taino were known for their rich culture and love of sports, particularly a ball game called bate. Bate was a game played in a rectangular court surrounded by stone monoliths. These courts were often located in the center of their villages. The game involved two teams trying to keep a rubber ball in play without using their hands. It has similarities to Mesoamerican ball games. Both bate and Mesoamerican ball games involved a rubber ball. The ball consisted of tree sap and plant fibers, which were treated and fashioned into a bouncy, durable ball. The courts used in the games were also remarkably similar. Bate was played on a rectangular court, often surrounded by stone monoliths or standing stones, which marked the boundaries and possibly held spiritual significance. Similarly, Mesoamerican ball courts were rectangular and bordered by stone walls, sometimes featuring sloping sides where the ball could bounce. These courts were central to community life, much like bate courts were in Taino villages. Bate sounds like a simple ball game, but it was more than just a sport. To the Taino, it was a ceremonial event used to settle disputes, honor the gods, or predict the future. The Taino believed the outcome of the game reflected the will of the gods, so winning or losing could have significant consequences for the players and the community. The ball, made from the sap of local trees, was considered sacred. Not only was bate a ceremonial game, but it was also a diplomatic tool. Different Taino communities often played friendly matches to strengthen alliances and maintain peace. It was a tool to encourage goodwill between neighboring tribes. It brought communities together and settled disputes. Its results reflected the gods' will. Its cultural significance and the Taino people's passion for this game demonstrate the complexity of their society. Despite its importance, much about the game, such as its exact rules and scoring system, remains a mystery. Number 3. The Taino worshipped objects called zamis. The Taino had a complex society, and their religion is no different. Religion was an essential part of their culture, with the worship of items called zamis playing a central role in their spiritual life. Zamis were physical objects, often made of wood, stone, or clay, that were believed to house spirits or gods. The Taino revered these objects, believing they held the power to influence the world around them, including aspects of life such as weather, fertility, and health. These zamis were such a significant part of Taino society that they featured in the art, architecture, and even the culture's social structure. One of the key ways in which the Taino maintained their relationship with the zamis was through offerings. These offerings were vital in gaining favor from the spirits embodied in the zamis and ensuring the well-being of their communities. The Taino presented a variety of offerings, ranging from food items like cassava bread, fish, and fruit. They also presented sacred objects, such as tobacco, which they burned as incense during rituals. Sometimes they even offered small, intricately crafted gold, bone, or stone objects, symbolizing their deep devotion and respect. The act of offering was more than just a simple gesture. It was a communal ritual led by the Behikes, the spiritual leaders who mediated between the people and the spiritual world. These ceremonies involved chanting, music, and dance, all performed to honor the zamis and seek their blessings. The offerings were an exchange. In return for their devotion, the Taino believed the zamis would provide protection, good harvests, and guidance. If a zami accepted the offering, it was a positive sign, indicating that the community was in harmony with the spiritual forces. However, if the zami rejected an offering, it could signal the need for deeper reflection or greater sacrifices, adding to the mystery surrounding these powerful spiritual entities. These offerings were such an essential part of the Taino people's lives that some sources speculate that many of their agricultural advancements resulted from the need for offerings. In other words, the Taino might have worked so hard on their agriculture that they could continue sacrificing for the zamis. They are renowned for their agricultural innovations. They developed sophisticated farming techniques to sustain large communities across the Caribbean islands. One of their most notable innovations was the kunuko system, a method of raised mound farming. By creating elevated plots of land, they could grow crops like cassava, maize, sweet potatoes, and beans. This technique was particularly effective in the Caribbean's tropical climate, helping to prevent soil erosion and retain moisture. The Taino people's agricultural practices were sustainable and resilient, ensuring a stable food supply year-round. These crops played a crucial role in Taino society. They were food for the community, offerings to the zamis, and they created opportunities for trade between neighboring communities. We may never know if sacrifices were the reason for the agricultural expertise of the Taino, but presenting sacrifices to the zamis was an essential part of their religion. Although we know of the significance of zamis in Taino culture, much about their worship remains unclear. The rituals associated with zamis, the exact nature of the spirits they embodied, and how these beliefs evolved over time are still mysteries. Among all the things we don't know about the Taino and the Caribs, their complex religious system may be one of the biggest mysteries. Number 4. The Caribs influenced our language. The Taino and Caribs were two distinct groups, and one of the things they had in common was the language they spoke, Arawakan. However, the Caribs' language had notable differences from the Taino language, despite being part of the Arawakan family. One of the most fascinating aspects of their language is what scholars call gendered speech, meaning that men spoke one language and women spoke another. In Carib cultures, men and women spoke two different languages. The men conversed in a version of the Carib language, while the women spoke something closely related to the Taino language. This unique linguistic feature might have started because of the Caribs' practice of capturing Taino women during raids and integrating them into Carib society. Because of their interaction with other Arawakan-speaking people, including Carib women, the other Arawakan languages heavily influenced the men's Carib language. Over time, this practice led to blending languages, with Carib men adopting many Taino words and phrases. This blending of words and phrases made the Carib language a melting pot of linguistic influences. This also reflects the complex relationship between the Taino and the Caribs. Today, the influence of the Caribs on our current-day language is still evident. Many words in Caribbean languages, including English, French, and Spanish, have roots in Carib or Taino words. For example, the word hurricane comes from the Taino word huracan, which was the name of a powerful storm god. While there are dozens more examples, the list includes words like barbecue, canoe, hammock, mangrove, and potato. Some places have names derived from their language, such as Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. Number 5. The Taino and Caribs have matrilineal societies. The final aspect of the Taino and Carib societies we'll cover in today's video may be one of the most intriguing aspects of their social structures. They were both matrilineal societies, where lineage follows the mother's line rather than the father's. The inheritance of property, titles, and even religious roles followed the female line, giving women a central role in the continuity of their family lines. Women held significant power and influence in these societies, especially regarding family matters and community leadership. Among the Taino, women could hold positions of power, such as caciques or chiefs. In Taino culture, these caciques were often responsible for the welfare and organization of their communities. The matrilineal system allowed women to play crucial roles in decision-making, such as choosing leaders and managing resources. This system strikes a fascinating contrast between the Taino and many Western cultures, which typically adhere to patrilineal societies. The Caribs also had a matrilineal system, although their social structure was more oriented toward warfare and raiding. Carib women were less politically influential than their Taino counterparts, but still played vital roles in their communities. They maintained cultural traditions and raised children. While we know that women were prominent in both societies, much about their roles and the exact nature of their influence remains a mystery. The matrilineal structure of these cultures challenges many Western assumptions about gender roles in indigenous societies and offers a fascinating glimpse into alternative forms of social organization. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the history of the Taino and Caribs, check out our book, History of the Dominican Republic, a captivating guide to the Caribbean islands' ancient roots, Taino and Caribs, colonial past and modern times. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Also, grab your free Mythology Bundle ebook while it's still available. All links are in the description. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.